Oh hey y'all, it's Taste Pink and I'm back to show off these kinky curly clip-ins from CurlsCurls, and I wanted to do something different. So this look is super realistic and natural looking, and I'm repping for my type pussy hair girls. We definitely did a major transformation, so if you want to see it in real time, make sure you guys keep on watching because the slayage, honey, we gotta get into it. I love this look. So as per the instructions, the very first thing I did was saturate the entire bundle with warm water. And once I felt like, they were pretty hydrated, I went in to apply a very conditioning conditioner. And this is one of my favorites. This is the Suave Almond Shea Butter Conditioner. Super affordable. You can get it at the drugstore, supermarket. It's everywhere, sis. But you see how those curls are popping? And I just allowed this to set for 30 minutes. And then I went ahead and rinsed out the conditioner. Now you guys can see the curls definitely loosen from the time that I removed them from the packaging, but they're still super springy and they're ready to slay. So you can let these air dry, you can hang them to dry or lay them on a towel as I did, but they're ready to go. But this is my first time working with CurlsCurls official, and I really wanted to put their clip-ins to the test. So right here, I am using a wide tooth comb to detangle the very tightly coiled hair. And then afterwards, I like to go in and use a blow dryer on pretty high heat. Now they do kind of advise to not use excessive heat, but I thought, you know what? Let's, be gentle. Let's start from the very ends and work our way up towards the weft. And that's what I did. And I did this. I recommend actually blow drying each weft individually, but I always do the most and but you guys see the two different textures. They're still super thick. One side has more definition, the other one is blown out. So I took individual wefts and I used T-pins to secure them onto the canvas blockhead. And then next I went in with a small tooth comb because I wanted to trim up the ends of the hair because they did look a little ratty. We blow dried it, we put in the work, but now I'm going in with a curling iron at about 430 degrees. And you just want to make sure that you constantly pull through the ends of the hair so you can get as good enough, curl definition. I definitely think that a curl wand might be more effective in, using smaller sections. I personally was trying to fly through this. I really didn't know what I was going to do. This is my first time I ever experimented with clip-ins on this type of level and put this much work into it. But I would rather me do the brunt of the work and then tell you guys what's tea. And once I was done, I just let the curls set in place. So I have two sections, one which is going to make up the ponytail and the other which will be my leave out that I'll blend with the clip-ins. And so next I'm going in with the Style Factor Edge Booster. This is the lemon berry scent. It's my favorite. And I'm just like putting this in between the parts. Now, y'all see my hair. It was braided down. It's textured. It kind of goes with the vibes. And I like to apply this in between the parts and on top of the sections because this makes this hair a little bit more slick. And when you want super hold, sis, you want your hair to look cute, you want it to look polished, add a little bit of oil. I love using jojoba oil. I think it's perfect for my particular hair texture, and it's very similar to the oil that's on the scalp. So, it's like a match made in heaven. Definitely feel like it's one of the reasons my hair is growing. Just a little tip. But I'm using this bristle brush to just bring the oil and the gel together. So I'm just going to secure this with a scrunchie. And then I'm gonna go in and I want to moisturize the ends of my hair. So I'm using my DIY shea butter, which I'll have linked in the description. Don't forget to check that out. And I use this all the time for the ends of my hair, especially right before I go in with a wide tooth comb to detangle the hair. And so then I'm just going to twist the hair down to the very ends. And at the end, I said, you know what? I'm scared. I treat my ends very carefully. So I added a little bit more of the shea butter and then I braided the very ends of my hair. And I look crazy, but we'll get into it. Now the back looks crazy. I don't think braids needs to be perfect for this. You don't even have to do braids, but we're gliding through this, sis. Now I sprayed each weft with a little bit of freeze spray. It adds a little bit more texture, a little bit of hold, but you'll see it wasn't really super necessary. A lot of trial and error throughout this whole process. But I started by using the wefts that have 3 clips on them. And I just wanted to save the wefts with 5 clips for the very front, which you all will see. And I think the most clips that I used at the back were like the wefts with 4 clips in them. And so because I do have a little bit of leave out, I did go in with a heat protectant. Please use a heat protectant if you do this step before I went into use a curling iron. I definitely dropped the temperature on this because, okay, this is my hair. It's not no clipping. So you got to be careful. And I did the same thing with the opposite section. And I just left that alone. It doesn't have to be too perfect. And I feel like, you know, we all get into a habit of like making styles super sleek and super polished. So I was like, you know what, let's do something different. Something that I don't typically do on my channel, with bold texture, big volume, and not so much curl definition, because my 4C hair doesn't have, you know, that super prominent curl definition that you'd find like a 3C or even like a 4A. So I'm really trying to rep for the type 4C fam. Like, we have options, sis, okay? We got a lot of options and we can make it work for us. Now, this kind of started as like this little half up, half down thing. And as I was doing my edges, I was like, wait, okay, let's get the edges together. The curls aren't looking as popping as I thought it was giving me, like way back in the day, like, you know, those little wigs back in the day, those white gray wigs. And I was like, I don't want my hair to look like that. So I used a paddle brush to really comb the hair out and give myself like a mane. Like, I wanted big hair. And then I took the hair, because I wrapped the weft around my ponytail, and I was like, let's just do a bun at the top. This is a cute half up, half down, little top bun going on. Blended my hair with the clip-ins. It was seamless. Just make sure it's undetectable, because you got to make sure it's undetectable, sis. Use your bobby pin strategically to secure that bun in place. And I feel like this is perfect for like the festivals, Afro punk. You know, you can look real cute and it gives natural tease. And I really love that about their clip-ins. And so you're like, but Pink, can they revert? Will they go back to the curly state? You know, I had to test it out. So I took the clip-ins that were blown out, ran them under water. You really want to saturate the hair. At first I was a little worried. I'm like, it's not really popping back, but then you have to give it a little bit of time. And then once you hit it with the conditioner, the curls definitely start to pop. They're not as tight as the very first time that we co-wash them, but that's to be expected. So this is just to give you guys a little bit of maintenance and to see how it holds up. So definitely check out CurlsCurls.com, and I hope I see you in the next one. Be sure to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one.